you're so sad? You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Good Friday afternoon, everybody. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, pop a top. It's the Kamel GT Happy Hour here on the National Racing Network, and we are excited. We're jacked up to bring you this one here. My name is Chris Graham, joined in the booth by Patrick Byrne, and for our European viewers, we've actually got a real European in the booth with us, Seb Kinder. Seb, what's going on, buddy? Time to kick off the racing weekend here.
Bienvenido al Circuito Jerez de la Frontera.
What he said. The Kamel GT series. Yeah, that's exactly right. So he can speak to the other 4 people that might be watching this show. Give us a shout. Let us know in the comments if you're watching, where you're watching from. We will do our best to keep you as informed as possible. NASCAR practice has already happened. A couple of interesting storylines developing out of that. But first, let's start talking about the race here at Jerez. We're going to pick up the number 3 of Mike DeTurk. And also, let's see who else we can get here. Because qualifying is underway. So we'll show you the session state and the timing tower and all that kind of stuff as well. You can see where your favorites will line up here.
So are we going to talk about Rodney Sandstorm today?
We are. We're going to talk a lot about Rodney Sandstorm. Jordan Taylor was fantastic behind the wheel of the number 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet. Had the car well inside the top 10 for the entirety of practice. However, there's no visual evidence of it because there was some kind of ball kicking game on Fox Sports this afternoon. So practice coverage is tape delayed until 8 p.m. and NASCAR killed the feeds of everything. Not even the NASCAR Media Center. The virtual media center that like the reporters use to keep track of things, that didn't have cameras up in it either. Yes. Let's bring you up the side-by-side here. we're going to show you Junami Costa. He was absolutely fantastic yesterday, winning both broadcast races in the Lotus 79 and the Lotus 49. And we'll get Sim Racer Hub pulled up here. We can tell you the broadcast point standings for the Kamel GT Happy Hour show. This one is based off of the IMSA point system from 1990. So, in GTP, the prototype class, Alex Ott is your points leader, sitting on 20 points. 5 points back going to be Matthias Havdal, Ferran Grau, Mike DeTurk, and Aaron Humphrey rounding out the top 5. In GTO, Joe Kuleskala is your leader. That was a great race 1 week ago. Oh my God, that was awesome at Sebring. Joe Kuleskala, Ovi Trangerid, Hugh Haycox, Arturas Kundelis, and Junami Costa, the top 5. Mike DeTurk sets a new fastest lap of the race, or of the qualifying session, I should say. Aitor Sintes Galindo from Spain going fastest lap, though.
He's got home field advantage.
A little bit.
Finally have another wonderful Spanish circuit on the iRacing platform. The only one, I think the only real major Grade 1 circuit that's left is Valencia that they need to add, and then they've got the big 3 over there, I think.
You also need to have Motorland de Aragon.
Yeah, Aragon is one that I would love to see on iRacing. On the list of tracks that would be really fun to have, maybe that's a discussion we can have here today, is what tracks do we not have that we should, as we get the squeaky chirpies out of the GTP. God, that car sounds awesome.
I'd say Mugello. That's a huge track that would just be so much fun, especially in these vintage cars, incredibly long straightaways, wide sweeping corners. It's just everything you want in a circuit.
Yeah, I can agree with that one. Let's see here. We're going to have to pull down our graphics here momentarily as Mike DeTurk finishes his run here. Pick up Daniel Karagity. Looks like he will be coming around to finish his qualification run as well.
Portimao. I was thinking of Portimao.
And let's bring up Junami Costa here in our GTO class. However, Juko Leskala is going to be your quick timer right now. Ovi Trengerid is second quick in class. So what else do we have on the racing calendar for this weekend? We have NASCAR at COTA. We have, I don't think, there's nothing sports cars since they ran Sebring last weekend. F1.
MotoGP is at Portimao.
Okay, well, there you go. So MotoGP is going to be in Spain this weekend. I don't know nearly enough about motorcycles to talk about them, though.
Yeah, I mean,
very fast.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very a big one, big incident today. Paul Espargaro actually had a huge crash, and he's now in the hospital. I think we have barely any news. I think he's conscious. Apparently he's been talking to the doctors, so that's a relief.
It's a good start. Some of those, Mike, that's one of the reasons I don't like watching motorcycle racing, actually. It is terrifying to see what happens to some of these guys. Even in wrecks that they get up and walk away from, you go, oh my God. Like, no, that's not possible.
You have to remember, they're not racing in just leathers like you see a guy on a Harley Davidson ride down the street in. They have full airbags throughout their suit. As soon as they dismount off the bike, that airbag inflates pretty much as soon, just like a real car, as soon as you hit the ground. That airbag inflates, dampens load, and then it's just tuck and roll. So even in motorcycle racing, what was not survivable 10, 15 years ago is just a mild incident. Maybe some bumps and bruises, and get up and get the backup bike out.
Yeah, right now I actually like a tweet from MotoGP, and it said like Paul Espargaro has suffered a pulmonary contusion, jaw fracture, and a fractured dorsal vertebra.
Oh, okay. The jaw fracture means they're wiring your face shut. Pulmonary contusion means your heart is bruised. And a dorsal vertebrae fracture. I'm not sure where exactly that is. I know cervical, thoracic, lumbar. I'm not sure where dorsal is. Oh, is that the tailbone?
Oh, that sounds painful.
So just sounds...
You can't open your jaw.
Bingo. And everything you do hurts because your heart is bruised. By the way, 10 seconds left in qualifying. How about this for a front row? 2/1000ths of a second separating your pole car from second place in GTP. Daniel Caragity and Heitor Sintes Galindo putting up nearly identical lap times.
What is up with this place in putting near or even identical laps? Looking at you, 1997.
Yes. We didn't quite go that close because we don't have Heinz-Harald Frentzen to join the party with us. But cars are coming out for the grid. Let's take a look here. Let's hide these and let's show you the starting grid for today's race. We'll kick things off with the cars lining up in GTO. Well, if the graphics will load for us anyway, we will. There we go. There is your front row. 1 minute 21.849 for the Cannon live read, number 18 of Daniel Caragity. Heitor Sintes Galindo lining up on the outside of row number 1, just 2/1000ths of a second back. Row number 2 is going to have Mike DeTurk and Thomas Ferrer. Row 3 will have Laust Olsen and Aaron Humphrey. Laust Olsen was very quick 1 week ago. We'll see what he's going to be able to do here in this afternoon show. Jack David Spickett lining up alongside Martin Kraychurk. Love the old-looking liveries on some of these cars. They just fit so damn well. The Jag silk cut of Brendan Lim lining up alongside Emerson Godin? We'll see what country he's from here shortly. I will try to get your name pronunciations right. Andy Lee's in the Gulf colors lining up alongside the Cannon machine of Bruckner Bertlin. Stefan Leslie lining up alongside Roman Bello on, that's going to be row number 7. Row 8 will have Robert Plumley and Michael J. Taylor. That car of Plumley reminds me a lot of Tommy Kendall's Corvette that he was running here in the States in the GTP class. Gavin Cohn and Ben Summers on row number 9. And on row 10, it will be Barnaby James and Michael Pagano. Row 11, Fran Herrera and Lance Simon. And all alone on row 12, Oriol Monteagudo. Now, let's head over and we'll pull up the GTO lineup and get you that one here very quickly as we work our way around. Joko Leskala and Ovi Trengerid on the front row for the GTO class, row number 2. Only 33,000ths, by the way, separating those two. A 10.5 separating the top 4. Javier Del Olmo and Junami Costa. Row number 3 will have Doug Cloud and Jose Delgado. Row 4 will be Ian Haycox and Franco Scori. Row 5, Arturas Kundalis and Yuri Gijin. Row 6, Andreas Schuster and Alphonse Fernandez. Row number 7, Javier Baca and Cam Porter. We'll get you through the rest of the field here very quickly. We'll get the car names up on the screen. You'll get to see the car images, driver names, driver helmets, all that kind of stuff. But we are going to be getting ready to go green here pretty quickly. I think, Seb, this place is really going to be great for this Kamel GT series because the cars seem to like these kind of flowy circuits. I've heard it described as a cross between Spa and Watkins Glen. I think that comparison is pretty apt. This should be a really fun race for us to get to watch here.
Yeah, I've actually...
Go ahead.
I've never driven this track. I've never seen a race of this track, so I'm kind of stepping this one blind. I think I did 2 laps of this track in the F1 2013 game, where they let you run the historic cars, and that's about it.
That brings back memories.
Yeah. If you're watching, let us know in the comments. Tell us what you're drinking.
The game is 10 years old now.
You hit him in the wrong spot, mate. Oh, God, I hope I get to say that today.
That's a good reference.
Now, one of the things we talked about last week was the fact that these guys actually know what they're doing in terms of building up the gaps. You'll notice the GTO cars are way behind the GTPs. They do that purposefully. Off the final corner, oh, what a jump at the front from Karagany. He's going to lead the field down to turn 1 as the green flag flies here at Jerez.
Couple cars starting from the pit showing the reliability of these things as they truly were in the 90s.
Yes. GTO cars now getting a green flag. Good start there as well. Top 4, top 5, all getting single file. Aitor Sintes Galindo currently running in the 3rd position, just back behind Mike DeTurk, who runs in 2nd. The gap is about 0.6 of a second to your race leader. Looking like we may, let's see. I thought we may have had an incident, but no, it does not look like we did. Everybody clean and green thus far. 40 minutes will be the distance on this particular race. Our first 60-minute show of the year comes up in week number 5, the week of April 11th. 60 minutes from Road America. And then the second of the 60-minute races will be in week number 9 when we go to Monza Grand Prix without the first chicane.
Oh, you're telling me they're not running the oval? You see, me and Seb have 2 very different opinions on that.
Okay, so I did run one time, I think it was last year, the Monza combined with our first chicane, and it was insanity. The start was just, oh my god.
Currently, Production Car Challenge is there, so if you ever wanted to race a Renault Clio around the combined circuit and hit a blistering 115 miles an hour, it's incredible.
What a poor use of that track.
That just sounds absolutely awful.
The first 2-3 laps, the entire track is a pack race with a road course kind of just thrown in the middle of it.
Keeping our eyes on GTP here, the gap is closing down a little bit to about 6.5 tenths or so between Daniel Karagany and Mike DeTurk. Looking at the running order in GTO, we'll pick up your race leader, Juko Leskola. He's got Ovi Trengerin all over the back end of that race car. And we are going to do the same thing in GTP. DeTurk versus Sintes Galindo down towards turn 1. Top 3 breaking away in a big way here at the front. New fastest lap of the race belongs to Karagany, 1:23.845. Big dive by Sintes Galindo on DeTurk. He's got to back out of it. The pullout game was strong on that move.
Yeah, I don't think this is a place where you want to overtake, especially since the corner goes to the left after that. I feel like the 2 overtaking on spot are the first corner and after this long stretch.
let's see, your top three settling themselves down a little bit. Let's slide back a little bit in GTP. Pick up this battle between Thomas Ferrer, Aaron Humphrey, and Jack David Spickett. That is 5, 6, and 7. Man, a big bobble there for Laust Olsen in 4th. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all basically nose to tail, as now the top 3 in GTO are also nose to tail.
This looks like it's going to be a second week of just massive battles throughout the field here.
Yeah, that's what you get. SOF Racing and Kamel GT is 2 classes of great racing.
And these guys are known for incredible racing. It's just these cars are so hard to get into. The Nissan is a very snappy ground effects beast.
Oh, God, that was a bizzle and a half down there in GTO. Holy crap.
Oops.
Bizzle, what are you doing out there?
Junami Costa got a little bit off the racetrack, and all of a sudden it was like Ovi Tregerin was right there until he wasn't. Now, we had a spirited discussion last night in one of the Discord servers, the TNT Racing Discord server, about track limits and what is not fair game. Seb, let's go to you. Let's go to you first, Seb. What should be fair game for track limits?
As long as you still have a bit of the car over the white line, and if it's fair game.
So if it's close enough to being on the racetrack, it counts as being on the racetrack.
Yes.
Okay.
I take more of a NASCAR stance towards it. You can't cut the corner. But if they paved the area outside the corner, they paved it so you could run on it. That's fair game.
Yeah.
Oh, man. GTP cars already catching lap traffic.
Oh.
Wow! Oh, and DeTurk's going to be right there. Oh, there's contact! DeTurk flying through the runoff.
Oh,
And he doesn't lose a position.
That's insane.
Holy crap, what a save by Mike DeTurk. iRacing top 10, here we come.
I'm not sure there's any damage on that car. He hit him square.
No, the only damage is to the pride.
To his ego.
Yeah.
Well, now, we did have a pass for the lead here, though, as well. Aitor Sintes Galindo coming around Daniel Caragity, who I'm not sure that car doesn't have some damage. Let's see. We'll pick up the close-up shot here on this car. Well, if I can find where the camera is, anyway.
Oh, I think
A little bit on the right front there, I think.
Yeah.
It could just be the weird shapes that these cars were. Yeah, I think it's okay.
Wow. Sturdy.
Now a pissed off Mike DeTurk making his way back through. I am fully anticipating a pile of new fastest laps coming here.
I thought you said they're Rossi style.
When I see red, oh yeah, you can see a little bit of damage right on the Gibbs part of Gives You Wings. Try and circle it here for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, hold on. I have to turn that on for you.
Oh, someone was in the dirt.
Was it?
That was one of...
This is the 18.
Nope, that was not Caragity. He is still very much on the...
He was not in the dirt, but he took out, or I don't know if Audi took himself out in front of him, and he had to really get on the binders and basically park that car on the side of the track.
Let's see. Let's show you an instant replay here of this incident. It'll be coming up here in the big box of Mike DeTurk This was the battle for the race lead. A hip check and a half. That car bouncing its way through the gravel. Oh my goodness. Thomas Freire coming around Daniel Caragity. So maybe there is some damage on that number 18 machine. Yeah, you know what? Now that I look at that car again, this may be new. Well, no, maybe not. Yeah, on that left front corner a little bit.
It looked like he had hit an Audi.
Yeah, there definitely is.
When the camera went by, there was an Audi punted in the dirt, and the 18 was kind of just parked there.
Yeah, he's a sitting duck.
Oh man, then he throws a hip check on the 16 of Jack David Spickett.
He knows this isn't NASCAR, right?
I mean, they are fenders.
The cheese wedges they're good at launching things too.
Now, speaking of IMSA drivers making their way to NASCAR, I wonder how Jordan Taylor is going to adapt, not to necessarily driving the stock car, but racing the stock cars. How much more physical it is than sports car racing. Is he going to be able to make those moves where you really just got to kind of rub someone, push him off the track?
I am going to say absolutely. Rodney Sandstorm has been waiting for this day most of his life. Already, by the way, now the entire GTO field has gone one lap down. And Michael DeTurk is eating tenths every couple of quarters out of the lead of Heitor Sintes Galindo. This is the battle for the race lead overall and in GTP in the big box. The small box still has the great 5-car train in GTO. Ooh, Laust Olsen having a little bit of an off track back there in the blue and yellow machine.
Oh, wow.
Oh! Possible pass for the lead in GTO. Joku Leskala able to hold off Ovi Trangerid, but man, Trangerid is right there. Now that they're out of the lap traffic, Sintes Galindo able to open up that gap pretty wide here on Mike DeTurk. In fact, let's flip the boxes around here and focus on the GTO battle here for just a couple of minutes. This is the hard part about running the GTO class. The car is fun to drive, but the prototypes are so quick that even somebody with half the skill level as you is going to be faster just because the car makes so much power. And you're still trying to battle for the race lead and battle for position in a car that is almost as difficult to drive.
It's not even a huge power difference between these cars either. The Audi is about 800 horsepower, the Nissan is about 900 horsepower. The real killer is, for one, the Nissans weigh half as much, and two, the Nissans make 17,000 times more downforce. So the Nissans aren't necessarily faster in the straights, which means they have to get you in the turns. You can see they ran side by side just most of the way down that straightaway. The Nissan did have a little bit of advantage, but
yeah, but to your point there, Patrick. Let's see. Let's pull it up here. Ovi Trangerid was just fighting almost able to run side by side with the Silk Cut Jag down the straightaway, but when they got to the corners, it was like he had to move out of the way of the GTP cars. And now Javier Del Olmo going to come inside. That's the battle for the second position. Del Olmo going to pick it up here from Trangerid.
This is why multiclass racing is great.
God, there is so much going on this racetrack right now. GTP battle we're going to pick up is Martin Krajcik and Jack David Spickett. They're the only cars within a second of each other in class. In GTO, the gap is 1.7 seconds now between Juco Lescala back to Javier Del Olmo. But then you're going to have Trengarin, Costa, and Delgado all right in line. So even just a weird passing opportunity by a GTP could be enough to shake this battle up again.
Yeah, and that's the hard part about multi-class racing. A big part of it is kind of guessing where the GTPs are going to catch you and try and put yourself in a spot where they're going to catch you at a good time. Even if that means, you know, tapping the brakes in the straightaway, letting them go by you instead of fighting side by side in the turns.
So the gap at the front of the field is it was 4.6. Now it's down to 4.3 seconds. Kind of depends a little bit on where you are in which section of the racetrack, though. Aitor Sintes Galindo holding off Mike DeTurk, Thomas Ferrer, Laust Olsen, and Aaron Humphrey. In GTO, it's going to be Juco Lescala, Javier Del Olmo, Ovi Trengarin, Junami Costa, and Jose Delgado. Cars that are out of the race or multiple laps down at this point include Gavin Cohn, Bruckner Bertalan, Oriol Monteagudo, Cam Porter, Stefan Leslie, Kiridan Bufia, Doug Cloud, and Mike Pagano.
These guys are still just nose to tail.
Yeah, it's a really fun battle to talk about because you just don't know when that next move is going to happen. And Lescala even isn't breaking out to that big of a gap. It's only about 1.8, 1.9 seconds. The race leader gets held up a little bit by a GTP or a pass comes at the wrong time. And all of a sudden, these guys are going to be right back in the game.
Yeah, it just takes one slip up, and especially in multi-class racing, it doesn't even have to be you that slips up to take you out of the lead. Could be a much faster car just coming and scooping you up. These cheese wedges just kind of get right underneath these Audis and pick them up and launch them in the air.
Oh, man, that's what we just talked about. The pass coming at the wrong time. Juco Lescala lost almost the entirety of his lead. It's now down to about 1 second as they get to turn one. God, we're not even to halfway yet. This is fun, man.
So, did you guys hear about how Jordan Taylor got the offer to drive for Hendrick?
Yes.
He didn't even ask. He didn't ask Hendrick. Hendrick called him and said, hey, you're in the car. Didn't ask him, just said, you're driving it. And Jordan Taylor just kind of like, screw the sponsors, screw Corvette Racing, screw everyone. I'm going to race the stock car and I'll apologize later. Don't ask for permission, just ask for forgiveness.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't have to worry about Corvette Racing. Something tells me Corvette Racing is all sorts of behind this effort. Some of the other sponsors and the things that come into play can be a little bit dicey. But ultimately, being able to put a picture of the guy in your... if you're, say, Quaker State or you're Valvoline sponsoring the Corvette team, Hendrick Motorsports is running Quaker State lubricants. All you're going to do is run the ad of him in your fire suit with your car that says congratulations on the win at COTA without actually saying anything else about it, and you still get the promotional victory, or the promotional win out of it.
Also, it's not like he's driving a stock car instead of a French track in a few months.
That is correct.
It's not a track though. It's a French street circuit.
Well, I mean, it's not really street circuit when you're on public roads, but yeah.
No, that's exactly what makes it a street circuit.
I mean, it's not in the streets per se. You're not in the streets.
Oh my god. This is going to
It's like
turn
saying
into our
Long Beach
dumpster
is
fire
not-
show every week.
Long Beach is not a street circuit because it's public roads, but it is.
Oh my god, it's a lie.
The very definition of what a street circuit is. Okay, so in GTP, we're still following this battle between Martin Krejcir and Jack David Spickett. That is the fight for 6th and 7th. Nobody else is anywhere close to each other. Ah, well, no, I shouldn't say that. Let's go back here. Pick up Romain Bello and Robert Plumley. Those two are nose to tail for position as well. That is going to be for the 11th and 12th position. In GTO, we are still following the battle for second. Javier Del Olmo and Ovi Trengerid. However, that is not the only fight in class. In fact, we're going to flip over and show multiple GTO battles here for just a moment. We're going to pick up in the bottom right-hand corner this fight between Arturas Kundalis and Ian Haycox. Also, deeper in the field, Alfonso Fernandez battling with Steve Lewis. Here's the dive for second. Trengerid looks inside. Oh, fantastic pass by Ovi Trengerid there.
Lane.
Oh, here we go. Let's see. We have in GTP down here in the bottom right, those three cars are all fighting for position. Andy Lees, Romain Bello, and Robert Plumley. Looks like Plumley got caught up behind one of the GTOs just a little bit, as we are just inside the halfway point.
Here's a crazy story about this track. I already told Chris before we went on air, but in 1996 in the 500cc class, which is now MotoGP, Doohan and Crivellet were fighting for the lead on this track. On the final lap, the people already started creating the track. Well, there was still the race going on, and the final corner, Doohan dived down the inside of Crivellet, and Crivellet crashed when there were people still on the track.
Yeah, the track invasion started a lap too soon, basically. Let's run a MotoGP bike, battling for position and the race win through the crowd. That just sounds absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
Why not?
Fun fact, you can watch that race on YouTube. The MotoGP official YouTube account has uploaded that race.
Of course they would.
Yeah.
Was
Thing
it
about
titled?
MotoGP races,
Was it titled "Not the Dumbest Thing That Happened This Year"?
no.
So we're following this battle down here. Let's widen the camera out a little bit for you so you can see more of the action that's going on. This is Andy Lees, Romain Bello, and Robert Plumley. 10th, 11th, and 12th in GTP down in the bottom right. the big box has the battle for second in GTO, but they are catching up to Juco Lescala. It's only about 1 second now. Actually, now even ticking down to 9/10 of a second. Laust Olsen coming around the outside. Now, at a place like this where you do have a couple of decent length straightaways, is this the type of deal where the draft may come into play a little bit?
Absolutely, and especially in those Audis. They punch a huge hole in the air. So there's a lot of turbulent air, that's a lot of drafting range they give, and they go pretty fast through it. So again, just more turbulent air to draft through. The Nissans, not so much, since they're a much slimmer profile, and that ginormous diffuser on the back keeps the wake behind them fairly low and fairly clean.
Yeah, we actually saw that issue when we tried running the GTPs at iRacing Super Speedway when it first came out. We thought the car was going to be incredible there, like some of the fastest laps you'll ever see. Except it makes so much downforce, you just can't get it to go over, 215 miles an hour or whatever it is. Because no matter how high you got it off the ground effect was still there, and it was still making just thousands of pounds of downforce.
And not only that, the wake off it isn't huge. So it's hard to have what we were expecting at iRacing Super Speedway was like a really drafty, almost Hanford-style kart race. And even maxing out the downforce on those cars, we just couldn't achieve that, which, frankly, designers of modern race cars, especially the rulebook creators, need to go back and look at what made these cars so great, especially following in quote-unquote dirty air.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to see F1 cars look like GTP cars from the 90s, although I wouldn't complain either.
Definitely maybe the new GTP cars that are coming out, style them a little more like the old ones.
You know what?
That'd be pretty cool.
That was something that was the original genesis of the Grand Am sports car series, and the car that on iRacing we call the Proto Turtle. The first generation of Grand Am prototypes were basically built to look and feel like the old Porsche 962.
Yeah, they missed on both bars. It doesn't look anything like it. It's ugly. And it's slow, and it doesn't handle very well. So everything the 962 was known for, they kind of took it and said, nah.
Failure.
Give me the NASCAR close enough version of it. I will say though, I prefer the look of the Proto Turtle to every one of the prototypes that are out there today, including the hypercars.
No, I disagree. The new Porsche and the new BMW especially, new BMW is one of the best looking cars in the grid right now.
The hypercars are a significant improvement over what we've had for the last 20 years or so in sports car racing. But the whole boxy, blocky prototype thing, it's not a prototype because it's a spec formula, that's just, those cars do very little to interest me.
The problem is, modern computers have gotten so good, they can simulate everything, they don't need to spend as much time in the wind tunnel. And they have found that blocky, terrible, ugly shape to be the most aerodynamically efficient, both in creating downforce and reducing drag. So, unfortunately, that's kind of the shape we're left with basically what is a bunch of teardrops all over the car. Teardrops over the front and rear wheel arches, and then a teardrop to hold the driver.
Yeah, I kind of want to say I don't care. There should be. I think for rules and regulations, one of the things that should be in the rule book should be the sniff test, or the eye test, or whatever you want to call it. That's not cool. It's not legal because I said it's not cool.
They got to bring the Monster Jam rule into it. Before your car can be approved, it sits in front of a panel of 10-year-old judges You get 3 10-year-olds from the stands, and if they don't think your car is cool, you can't race that weekend.
Yes, something, maybe not 10-year-olds, because, well, I have an 8-year-old, and his idea of cool is, well, would probably involve, like, death and dismemberment. But...
What the hell?
I've met his kid. That is 100% true.
It's one of those things that I look at, like, our sports cars have to be cool looking again. The GTP was cool. It's a cheese wedge. It's literally a wedge shape. There should be nothing cool about it, except it looked fast.
Not only that, if you look at the rear bumper of the cheese wedge, I'm going to call it a bumper. You're not supposed to hit it. You can see that's just a flat piece of sheet metal with dimple dies punched through it. Those old GTP cars are something that your average Joe, maybe not your average Joe, but someone with reasonable means can build in their home garage and go out and do an IMSA race. Maybe not compete nearly as well as the works teams, but definitely get a car that's out there on the grid going pretty fast. Today's cars you need basically a NASA space station and build them and design them, and they're chasing thousandths of a second now, where here in the 80s they were chasing seconds at a time.
Yeah, it's sort of like, I don't necessarily think we should allow things like the fan car that Brabham brought out. I don't know that that's cool to have out there either. Oh, wait, hold up. We're having this great conversation. We missed Ovi Trengarin passing Javier Del Oro for position.
Oh, crap, there's a race going on? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
looks like trouble possibly also for Junami Costa. Mike DeTurk possibly also having an issue. All right, let's do this. Let's flip the boxes back over here. We're going to show you a couple of replays back to back. This is Mike DeTurk. He is in the Red Bull live read car. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Trying to get inside of a GTO. Second time. He's gone dirt tracking. And right back to the blinking high beams. It's beautiful. Back on track, no harm, no foul. Junami Costa having an issue as well. That's going to be the Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner livery. Oh, he just slides off the track.
He must have hit one of them Acme, like, banana peels or something.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Alfonso Fernandez having an issue a little bit further back in the pack.
Oops.
Oh, a net code hip check. We don't get to see those often. Oh, and then Fran Herrera gets involved.
That was a GT3 re-entry. I thought these guys were better than GT3 drivers.
We got lied to.
The guy running the graphic
fair,
says P2 class drive like dentists.
To be fair, they both re-entered and went for the exact same piece of real estate.
Yeah, they were both going.
Like an American trying to drive through a roundabout. Or specifically, your lead commentator, Chris Graham, trying to drive through a roundabout.
Yo, I was absolutely fine with the roundabouts in Indiana. I grew up near New
You
Jersey.
stop at every yield sign.
No,
Yeah.
not every yield sign.
Because I started yelling at you not to.
Dear God. Dear
Ooh,
God.
race leader, a little bit wide to let one of the GTPs through. I'm sorry, that was Ovi Trengarin, not your race leader. Let's pick up guy we have hardly talked about today or shown on screen, Juco Lescala. Actually, you have both your leaders there in the big box.
Nice.
Heitor Sintes Galindo coming past. That car rockets off into the distance through the corners. The cornering speed was really well illustrated there. And my God, is that a massive difference.
Yeah, like, I don't think these two cars would be far off from each other at a place like iRacing Super Speedway. Obviously, the Nissans would win, but I think for the first couple of laps, the Audis would definitely be on the lead lap for a lot longer than you'd think. You take these guys to an oval, let's make it real easy for start comparison, LA Coliseum. The Nissans are going to blow the doors off the Audis 100 times over. The cornering speed is where they make up all of their speed in this field.
Oh, man, that was tight.
Yeah, that's the car. Yeah, it is a car. Ooh.
Wow. Okay, the prototype that is parked. You can't park there, bud. Let me see if I can figure out who that was.
Maybe Mark Williams?
No, it was not Emerson Godin. Oh, it's Fran Herrera. Fran, you can't park there, bud.
Is this stuck?
He looks like he's beached, actually. Let's go back to him here. Nope, he's got it moving a little bit. He's at least off the racing line now.
Yeah, that's much better because, yeah.
It's like a Family Guy skit. Him just going forward, backing up, going forward, backing up.
Yeah, going full Austin Powers, trying to get that car rolling again. Down just inside of 6 minutes remaining in our second Kamel GT broadcast.
Wow, this is going to get heated up, yo.
Yeah, I was just going to say, let's flip the boxes over here because GTO is about to get good.
I would call that just one GTP lane between the leaders.
Yeah, it's about 37 feet.
What is a feet?
37 feet is about
10 meters. Yeah, 11 meters.
10 meters would be about 30 feet. So, yeah,
Well,
about 12 meters is 11 feet.
Man, more GTPs come through, and this battle gets tighter and tighter. Between Yuko Leskala and Ovi Trengerid. Actually, let's do this. Let's go put them up in the big box.
Oh dear, what is Michael the Turk there?
Michael the Turk not having a lot of luck around these Audis. This time he gets by just cleanly.
Thank God. Send it or not to send it? That is the question.
Oh, man, another car spun around. That looked like one of the Audis. So, the small box in the lower right-hand corner, we are following your GTP class leader, Heitor Sintes Galindo. Actually, let's move over and pick up this battle here between Laust Olsen and Brendan Lim. That's the fight for the 8th position. That gap that was down to about 0.2 is now up to 0.6 of a second as the GTP cars are coming through. They get past Trengerid, sort of get held up just a little bit, following behind Leskala, and it kind of allows Leskala to open the gap up just a hair.
Yeah, Trengerid got overtaken at the worst spot for him.
Down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining. Let's see where your race leader is. See if we're going to be down to 1 or 2 laps to go. The gap between Sintes Galindo and Ferrer is about 18.5 seconds. So no real danger here for Heitor Sintes Galindo.
As you say that, why why is the gap dropping out that fast for the?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was 18 seconds. It's now down to 10, 9, 8.
What happened to Galindo?
It looked like he was just slow for a couple of corners.
Maybe he's getting bored running out there all by himself and does what I do when I play Forza with my little brothers and just starts slowing down, making an interesting race.
Well, I wonder if we get to the point where maybe you're starting to burn off the rear tires on the Nissan, because once you get them hot, they are almost impossible to get cooled back off.
There's just now 5 seconds between the two. Like, what is happening?
Comment coming in from our buddy 90210 owned. All they need now is the 91730 and the madness will be complete. I could go for a couple of more vintage prototypes. I think that would be fun.
That sounds like something Jason Priestley would say.
That is now only a second behind. What is going on?
Holy crap.
And he's... What the heck?
Yeah, the gap. Sintez Galindo, hold on a second here. Pick up your new race leader. All right, let's see what we got going on here. As the white flag is out, we are down to 1 lap to go. Show you the replay here. Aitor Sintez Galindo got it a little bit off track, slides out. Oh, and he just pounds the Audi.
No!
Oh.
That's the front of that race car junked. Checkered flag is out. Thomas Friere wins at Jerez. Now let's pick up Yuko Leskala. He still has Ovi Trengerid. God, there is so much to try to keep up with in this. Sintez Galindo finishes second. Out of the final corner and under the checkered flag. And Yuko Leskala picks up another win in GTO.
Drift today.
Yes.
4-wheel drive drift.
Deja vu.
God, that's so good.
I was going to try and sing the rest of Running in the 90s, but I'm going to save the audience from that.
That must have been like a heck of chaotic final laps, because I feel like I saw like the Turk F.
You can tell just how much control he has over this car to be able to drift this thing. Usually when I try that, it's a miserable experience for all parties involved.
Yes, can confirm.
Yes, yes.
That is so cool. Such a fun watch. If any of our podium drivers in GTP or GTO are in the server, or you're listening to us, hop into the General 2 voice chat. We'll get you ready to come up on the air here, but we'll talk to you about your podium finishes. Thomas Ferrer already, he gone. He is out of the server and everything else here. Let's see.
At least I'm glad that a fellow countryman won this race.
Trying to find where the pass for the lead was, but here, let's bring this one up this way and pick up Thomas Ferrer.
Imagine you're in Thomas' position, and right now you just see the gap dropping, and then like, I would have been like, did they get disconnected or something?
But there it is. After the incident, Tomas Ferrer will go on to win this one. That incident happening with just about a lap and a half to go. Show you that car, slow it down nice and slow for you. Get you a good look at the winner's paint scheme for Tomas Ferrer. Unfortunately, the look of that car is not going to be the same for your second place finisher in GTP. Let's take a look at the car of Heitor Sintes Galindo. Missing some parts.
I feel so bad for him. Like, he did the perfect race and all of it to come down like this. That is...
Well, let's see. Oh, I can't drag you. Let's see. If we could tell Heitor to hop up into the general here. Unfortunately, I can't move him around in the room here. But, man, I just gutted for him. That car was fantastic. Just this entire race. And let's bring him in here. Heitor Sintes Galindo. I am sorry if I am butchering your name. Man, that car was an absolute rocket ship today, and then get caught out with an off-track Audi with about a lap and a half to go.
Well, unfortunately, the Audi had no, let's say, part in the story. Basically, it was a lapse of concentration that I will carry on for the rest of my life. It was 17 seconds, and I threw it away like this. I'm so frustrated with myself. I usually don't do lapses like this, but well.
I'll tell you what, that's one of those things that you are, like you said, you're never going to forget it. And deep in one of these races, I mean, looking ahead to next week, we head off to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Same kind of place where you just can't have the lapse in concentration. You're going to remember that one, though. In this place, that's a lot tougher to pass than it is here at Jerez.
Not really, because actually the corners are very mid-speed. The problem with this track, Jerez, is very a lot of fast corners, and the Audis have a lot of trouble, and we need to get through. Not the case in Montreal. It won't be, I think, not as chaotic as this one, but it will be a challenge as well.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Congratulations on the podium. And if you have any sponsor shout-outs, plugs, or thank yous you'd like to do, get them in here before we let you go.
Well, the usual thing I usually do. Thanks to you guys for the broadcast, and family, friends are watching, and my teammates and the Kamel community. Well, let's drag it out, and we'll see you next week at Montreal.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. I am going to... Oh, I can't even disconnect you. So you're good to go, buddy. We thank you very much for coming in to hang out with us. Man alive. I'll tell you what, boys. I don't see anybody else jumping in here to chat with, but this was a fun show. As always, I'm going to have to get better at managing who is what and where, and almost like I just need to let you two go ballistic talking to each other. And I'll just handle pushing the buttons. Well, we didn't even get to let you draw on the screen, Bizzle.
Yeah, no, I saw that wasn't working. I was trying to draw on the screen a bunch, and
Oh, well, here. I guess if I hit the button and turn it on, that helps.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep. Now I'm screwing it up.
Yeah, now you're breaking stuff. All right, well, let's get out of here. A fantastic show. Oh, there we go. Go ahead. You got it. There we go.
There's a race car there. I was going to point out the damage that's over sort of here in the car.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get good with this thing.
Wait till it shows the right-hand side. Or left-hand side. There's a whole bunch of damage on the race car on that side. But, man.
You can see, this is the left-hand side of the race car.
Yes, it is. So, we've still got a big weekend of racing coming up here, too, because tomorrow at, let me pull up our official streaming schedule here. Tomorrow at 3:45 in the afternoon, the Spec Corvette Series from Buttonwillow Raceway Park, Real World Racing. Following that up on Sunday at 1:25 p.m. will be Spec Corvette as well. Then we're back to the iRacing content on Monday night. We got the Silver Crowns. Wednesday, Sim Racers Club. Thursday, a pair of double headers. Lotus 49s and 79s in the afternoon. U.S. Open Wheel Championship in the evening. Just tons of content. Keep your eye out for content as well from Alex Gray, our NASCAR writer, as well as Ben Carswell handling the IndyCar writing. Mark Hackett covering the Dirt Modifieds for us. All sorts of stuff happening over at NationalRacingNetwork.com as well. But with that, time for us to get the heck on out of here. For Patrick Burns, Sebastian Kinder, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all tomorrow afternoon from Buttonwillow for the Spec Corvettes. Until then, see you later, everybody. Have a great night.